let's start with the first case. It's called, for this set, I will cover all the line cases. So for the first case is this. You see this 6 on top. You trace from these two pieces. You start from the orange piece, this piece. You go around. Then for even parity, you do a counter, U prime turn. For odd parity, you do a U turn. Let me prove it. So in this case, I trace odd, so I'll do a U turn. Like when you pair up, you want to convert it into scallop, you do a U turn. If it's even parity, you do U prime. So like you see, I don't get parity. So if you get odd parity, even parity, you do a U prime turn. Then you solve scallop. So like for even parity, you get it like this, something like this. You can't execute it like that. So you do a D. For even parity, you do U prime turn, right? So for this, in this case, you do U prime, right? So for even parity, you just pair them on top, then do a U prime turn. For odd parity, you just pair them up and then you do a U turn. So for the next case, it's called 222. You need to hold it in such way, like this shape. You can hold it, you can trace it like that. Just make sure it's in this shape, not something like this. So you start from the corner, you go around. So for even parity, alright, so I went to check it. So for even parity, you do you know maybe like you form a kite at the bottom like that by using this piece and the line. For even parity, you put this thing in front. You do even kite shield. Maybe you guys don't know this yet. I will teach it in the next video. So for odd parity, you guys do odd kite shield by putting the kite at the back like that. So for when you get it in the, I guess it's called a mirror or something. So for even parity, you do even kite shield. You form a kite with this line and this thing. Like after you trace it, you use this one and this one to form a kite. Then you do even kite shield. After you trace it, you get odd parity. You do odd kite shield again. You put a kite at the back. So next, for this case, you start with this piece. When there is a line, so you start with this edge, go around. So for even parity, even back or odd front means like you put this scallop at the back. Then you pair up, form a kite, then you solve it. So for odd parity, you just put a scallop in front, then you make a kite. So for mirrors, for even parity, you do the same thing. After you trace, you make sure this scallop is at the back, at this part. So when you rotate, you make sure it's at that part. Then you just pair up kite, and then you get scallop kite. So for odd parity, you just make sure it's in this front part. When you rotate, you will remain it. You pair up kite. So next is called 3-3. When you have a line, you trace it this way. If you have an L, you trace it like that. Yeah, so if you have a line, you trace it this way. You start from this red edge, go around. So, so for even parity, even back or front, the same concept applies, I guess. This is the way I memorize these cases. So you just put everything at the back, the things at the back, and you pair up scallop. So if you get odd parity, you just move them to the front. So you get it mirrored. So even back or front means like you make sure this, after you trace from this angle, you make sure that things are at the back like that. And you just make scallop. So if you get odd parity, you make sure that things are in front like that. So when you rotate, you move them to the front. And you pair up scallop. So next cases, I'm not sure what's this called. Anyways, so there's two kind of cases. One is looks like that, where the two pairs at the back. The other one is the two pair in the middle. In my opinion, this is the bad one. This is the good one. It's just like kind of like righty and lefty. So for this case, you trace it from this piece, go around. So for even parity is the easy one. That's why I said it's a good one. You just set up the scallop kite like that. For odd parity, you need to do this. Something like RUR prime, something like that, I guess. So if you have it on the bottom like that, you trace the same way. So for even parity, it's always the good one. So remember, you just do one slice into scallop kite. So for odd parity, you need to do something like this. You move this pair like that, and you do something like RUR prime, and you set up into scallop kite. Then you solve it. So for next case, this is the totally inverse of the previous one. So for even parity, you need to do like RUR prime to move this pair, to pair this one and this. For odd parity, it's the easy one. Just one move into scallop kite. So same thing for even parity, you do the something like you hold it like this, then you do like RUR prime to get this pair up here. For even parity, for odd parity, you just do one move into scallop kite. You get a kite in one slice. You have soft scallop kite. So for next case, there's three more cases after this. So this is the good one. I consider it a good one because it's the righty version. It's always the better one. This is lefty version. So for righty version, so for even parity, you just do the easy solution. You set it up into scallop kite. Consider it as easy. For odd parity, you do something even more easier. So you set up into shiu. By doing this, you pair this line and this thing. You see this pair? Just remove it. You soft shiu. So for this case, for even parity, if you get mirrored, you do the same thing. You set up into scallop kite. So Okay, for odd parity, you do the easy. I mean I guess it's easier. So you set up into shield by pairing up this line and the paw. So for this, it's the totally inverse one. So for even parity, you make the shield. So for even parity, you do shield again. You pair this line and a paw. So for odd parity, you just make it into scallop kite. Scallop kite. Scallop kite. So for next case, I mean same thing. So we get it mirrored. For even parity, you set up into shield. You just pick your best angle for you. You can pick any. You can start from any angle as long like it does the same thing. Then you set up it for odd parity. You set up into scallop kite. Like that. I will do it like this. So for even parity, wait, let me introduce the case. So this one has right paw, and there's the other case which have left paw. So the right one is always a good one because it's right. So for even parity, you set up into scallop. By doing this, you pair this thing paw and the line. Then you use this one and this one to make another scallop. For odd parity, okay, sorry, I forgot about how to trace. So you trace it like this. Okay, so there's three type of cases where there's a line, there's a L and a pair. You only trace it like this if there's a L. I mean like L, you know. So if you get even parity, you do scallop. If you get odd parity, you do this. You see this L, I mean the line, you put this thing and the line together like that. And you do negative one thing. And you do this, you form another kite. So when you get mirrors, you do the same thing. You for even parity, you just convert it into scallop. So you just pick whatever angle you like, make scallop. For odd parity, yeah, I'll just take this angle. You pair this thing and the line together like that. You adjust the bottom. You form kite. I mean. So last but not least, we have the other case. So for this case, adjust this. Okay. So for even parity, it's like the total inverse. Alright, so I tested it. So for even parity, you do the inverse solution, like the inverse of the previous one. You do this. You make convert it into kite by pairing this and this line. Then you adjust the square. So for odd parity, you do this, convert it to scallop. Okay, so before I end the video, I'll show you the mirrors for this case. So you trace the same way, start from this piece. For even parity, you make kite. By doing this, you you use this L, and this one to make a square. Then you adjust the bottom. So for odd parity, you make scallop like that. You pair this line and this pole. Scallop. So if you enjoy the video, please like,